What's up, everybody? All right, let's make sure this is live. Give me a second. Give me a second. Let's see. A little bright on my face. Sorry, everyone, but it's bright out. Let's check this out real quick. My channel. It says I'm live. Videos. Live. All right. We're live. There you go. All right. Hope everyone's having a good Sunday. Relaxing. It's nice and wet and icy out over here. We had some snow, but New York City's on that band typically, so we're on the edge. We always get either sleet usually or a little bit more rain, but there was some cool, fat, chunky, soft kind of snowflakes coming down earlier. So I took the dog for a walk in it, had a nice walk. It's pretty cool. And she's over there just cuddling all the blankets. Must be nice being a dog. Anyway, actually give you guys a sneak. You can see it here, actually. Can you tell that's a knife? I was actually planning on having this video up today, but in my shop, it's winter, so it's super cold, and the epoxy was not as dry as I like it. But you can see the profile of it. Ugh. It's got African blackwood handles, all glued up with some brass pins and a big 1/4 inch through pin there for a lanyard. I'll have this video up soon. Again, epoxy just has to cure properly so I can actually get into grinding it without worried about something. I don't want a delamination of the scales. Everything else looks pretty good. And it looks like it bonded well. I use West Systems. It's a marine grade epoxy. It's quality stuff. It's more expensive, but it's worth every penny because you don't have to have a worry about it coming off or anything if you do everything properly. But this one I started using the I think it's the Flex Pro, something like that. It's got a little more flex to it, I guess. But it definitely feels like a different compound. It's very interesting. I like to, typically there's always a big drip on the end right there. So I typically like to puncture that if the blade goes right in, which it's much harder than what it was. I was able to smush it with my fingernail this morning. But when the blade sinks in, or if it doesn't sink in, it's nice. It's pretty good there. I have it next to the heater right now. So we'll give it another day just to make sure it's completely cured. Then I can start grinding it slow and careful. Thing about epoxy, you don't want to heat it up because once you do, it ruins the structure of it. So it'll start to come off and split and crack and stuff like that. Because I'll show you this. This is the Raven. That's the pattern I did for that one. Copied off of this one. Except this one was forged. You can see the forged scale and everything I left in it. Is it me or is this camera dirty? Let me get a cloth, wipe that lens off. Forgive me. Might be a little better. God damn, it's bright, man. Making me look like fucking powder from that movie. That's kind of dark. There's a happy medium somewhere. Maybe. Anyway, you can see the forged scale in it there. Should fucking focus better. Whoa. Yeah, the other one is stock removal. So it's the same pattern, essentially, except it's a little different here. Here it is like almost a perfect half circle. This was forged in, so I wasn't able to fix that properly. I just ground it. So it is what it is. But that's the pattern I used because I really liked it. The handle's actually this handle was a little thin, and I never really liked it. So I made sure in the second one that it came a little more straight out, and then it dropped down a lot more. So in this motion, you don't want to slide off. You don't really feel like you're going to slide off, but I do like a little fatter grip. I've got decent sized hands, so that's why I did that. But this blade turned out pretty sweet. That's why I kept it. I liked it. Plus, there's a little whoop-de-woo right here. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little gap. I mean, it's full of epoxy, but it's a little forge mark, which wasn't going to come out unless I started grinding away. I wasn't going to do all that. Because it's pretty sweet, and I didn't want to just scrap it for that, you know? Would have been kind of stupid. And Kydex. I use green because that's my color. Green and black. Green door. This whole room is all, not this room obviously, but the next room over, my living room. It's all dark green walls, a black trim. It's super calming to just chill. You know, it's very relaxing. Let's make sure I have that link up about this live so everyone sees it. Well, they'll probably see it later when they have time. No biggie. Let's see. Yep. It's live. It's the link's there. It's all right. This thing will kick off eventually. I know I don't have many followers. And there's probably, when I look at my statistics, my analytics, there's probably, if I'm looking at it, there's probably only like really 50 of you that actually give a shit about this channel at the moment. When it says I have 300 and, what is it, 352? I just got another follower yesterday, I guess. I had 351 because I lost a few. But realistically, when I look at my videos, the last 6 videos, the highest view count is 87 views, which is nothing compared to when I first started the channel. My forged pipe hawk, that's over 22,000 views. That's hands down my most viewed video. I mean, and it was a good video. It was fun, even though I got my face smashed in by a steel brush that came off the floor. Whatever, it was fun. But my more recent videos, they're kind of dropping off, and I get it. I can't always make a big ass pipe hawk. It's requires a lot of time and money, you know. I don't always have both those things at the same time, so sometimes you're just gonna have to wait and deal. So, because I want to continue to put videos out, so sometimes I have to make smaller items that are a little less involved, but I still think they're pretty cool. At least I do. Some of you do. I get some likes. I don't get any more dislikes, which is nice. I used to get a bunch of thumbs down from people. Which is interesting. It's okay. I guess any interaction's a good reaction, I guess. Right? Like if they're talking shit about you, at least they're talking. Because that pipe hawk video, I had 11 thumbs down. I had 12, but somebody unthumbed it, I guess. But I had 385 thumbs up. That's what matters. And I don't really know if the thumbs up or down really means anything anyway. I just don't know. I'm sure it helps a little bit, but I don't know. Yeah. Back up a little. I was actually going to show you guys a couple other little blades that I cherish. Not too sure if I showed these, but like the more basic ones, I like to use a lot of Benchmade knives. This obviously is my color scheme, so that's why I got it. Plus, it's like a reverse tanto. Like that would be a traditional tanto, where this degree is sharp, and this would be the spine. And this is the Osborne design. It's a 530V steel, and Benchmade 940 is the knife. It's a sweet little knife. I don't use it as much. It's because I don't want to wear away all the finish on it. And I have other knives I like a little better. But they're quality knives. This is my everyday carry. And it is it's an Osborne design, same designer obviously, but this is the 943. But I really like this tip because this tip will go in anything. You can double up on leather jackets, whatever you want. This is going to go right in. When this is sharp, this thing's like a cat's claw. It just hooks you. It's crazy. But you can also see how much it wears off. All that anodized aluminum back here, and then anodized stainless up here. Or I don't know if that's anodized or painted, or electro painted, whatever. However they do it, it does it, but it does wear off. You can see, obviously, it's very distressed looking, which still looks kind of cool. And the whole point of that is so your blade's not reflecting, but with that super shiny edge to begin with, that's very reflective. But I do enjoy these knives. I like the Osborne style handle because it's in your pocket. It's super discreet. It's very thin. I live in New York City, so technically you're not allowed to use or carry a pocket knife around, but unless it's a fixed blade under 4 inches or some nonsensical law like that, I don't care. I'm still going to carry a blade because my constitutional rights and my religious rights supersede all of your corruption. So catch me if you can, guys. That's the blade I like to carry. Now, another blade I use is a straight razor. I've had this, I got it in California many years ago. I'm trying to think. It must have been 1920. I've had this thing for over 20 years, almost. It is a DeVoe. You know that name, you know how good they are. It's German steel. It's got the gold etching on there. And it's a beautiful blade. It's got a little bit of oxidation on it, but nothing crazy. And where does it say? Made in Germany, DeVoe, Solingen, 1516. I don't know if you can see any of that. There you go. See if I can get that for you. I believe it was Modesto, California. There's this really cool knife shop in this little outside mall, kind of like a strip mall. But this is what I got there. It was I think it was like 110 bucks at the time, something like that. It's a good chunk of change for a straight razor. But you can see the quality of it. I still have it after all these years. Quality, but these things are amazing. This is a very specific grind to the straight razors. See how it goes in? It's convex or concave. Makes this edge super thin. It's like thinner than paper. It's amazing. And it just stays sharp. I mean, it's already shaving skin off the tip of my finger here, and I haven't sharpened this in years. I mean, typically when you get these things down, you just have to strop them. You don't have to go crazy. Oh, pretty cool. Somebody popped in and left. Hello and goodbye at the same time. So I've had this bad boy for a long time. This is a great little blade. Super quality. There's a little bit of a bow on the scale. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see right there. You see that? How it bows out right here a little bit. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. Probably happened because that's exactly where the inlay starts. Right on that edge is where the bow is. And I could feel it on my finger a little bit. So structurally, there's a little less meat right there. So maybe that's what did it. It's all right though. Still holding up beautifully. Man, I'm surprised there's like no rust in this thing because I haven't really touched this in a bit. I mean, I always coat my steel before I put it away, but it's bone dry and it's been bone dry for years, so it's good. These back. Another cool blade I have. I went to North Carolina to see my brother some years back because we have a Revolutionary War heroes in our family, and there's a big monument to them, and our family name's on it. So we went to pay our respect, and I forged a little something and brought it and left it there on the. My brother helped me, left it there on top of the monument. So it's probably there rusting away, but it's okay. My ancestors got to see it. But there was this really cool antique store. It's actually an antique mall, and there's like hundreds of little stores in that whole mall. You know, there's no vendors there. It's just everything is labeled to their area, and they have a list of the pricing and everything for everybody. So you just walk up with it, and they know how to charge you. But there was this one little booth down the middle aisle, and they had some really cool blades. It was just, I looked, we went there 2 days. One, we can't see everything in a day. So I went back the second day, and the second day is where I bought something because on the way out, I was like, oh crap, what's this? It just happened to be a cool little knife section out of somebody's little store all behind glass. And I saw this guy. The case I made for it didn't come with the case. Actually, it came with a cheap kind of case that was leather, and this blade just went right through the leather if you put it in wrong. But it has a pearl. Is that pearl? That's pearl or wood. It looks like pearl, but it might be bone of some kind. It's just a high polish. I'm trying to look myself. It's got a pretty sweet little inlay. It's got the pins. It's got the 1/4-inch pin for a lanyard. The only defect is you could probably see it, that little split right up to the pin, but you can't even feel it, so it's fine in there. It's got cool filing down the spine of the handle with some epoxy fill. Even has it on the butt and on the under grip, which is very interesting. I say it's interesting because this knife had a lot of work done to it. And look at the blade. It's Damascus, not fake Damascus either, like you see everywhere these days. And people try and sell you a knife for 30 bucks, calling it Damascus, as if that would ever really be Damascus or pattern welded steel, whatever you want to call it. But this tip is terrifying. You thought the other tip would go straight into something. This will go straight into anything. But I just thought this blade was so cool, especially the way it feels when you hold it like this. The way that groove is, and you can thumb it, it just feels perfect. If someone's coming at you, you can just easily crack them and whack them. Like, they wouldn't have a chance. Like, you're going to be so quick with this thing, it's going to go in everything it touches. The dude's just going to be bleeding out, and his eyes are going to be full of blood in a matter of seconds. And you don't have to finish him. You can just get away from him. But this is a sweet little blade. It's even got filing on the spine. You can see that. But what I was going to say, it's very odd because the amount of work this person put in this blade and how beautiful it is, there's not a maker's mark anywhere on it. There was no information about it whatsoever. I would love to know who made it. It's just a mystery blade. It's a beautiful blade, though. It really is. Like, and you can see that beautiful pattern. I know my camera's not the best, and neither's the lighting, but you can see that. It came with kind of a shitty edge, so I put a real edge on it. But this blade is just beautiful. Got to touch that tip a little bit with some oil, but other than that, maybe sharpen it a little bit. But that is just like I was telling you, a cat's claw just pricks you. Like you're just touching it, hooks. Well, this is a blade I found down there. I don't remember how much I paid, but it was under $100, and I was happy to pay it. It's just a sweet little blade. It's good memories, you know. Guy did really good work, and I'm just again super surprised. There's no maker's mark. I mean, there's probably no room for maker's mark, and it's Damascus, so you're not going to etch it really. Whatever. It's a sweet little design, a sweet little blade, and I made a sweet little case for it, so it's nice and safe. And that's that. That is that. Again, I don't actually have a lot of hand knives, or I'm not a huge collector, but I do have some. Typically, just thankfully now I made mine, and I have that with me. What's up, girl? You want to say hi, people? Huh? Trying to get attention? Are you tired of napping? Say hi to the world? You say hi to the world? You say hi to the world? Such a good girl. Yes, you're a good girl. Oh, I know. You had fun out this morning on the snow? Again, like I told you, we took her a nice little walk this morning. Every morning I'll take her for a walk. She enjoys the snow. I still have the first video when I first got her. First time she saw snow, she went crazy. What is this? She's jumping around and running everywhere. I know. We loved it. And she's not good in the cold because, let me show you. Here, let's back up, girl. See her stomach? It's bald. So when it's cold, she'll just sit out there and shiver away. She doesn't have much, she has no real coat. Like a lot of German Shepherds and stuff, they have two coats. So she doesn't have any of that. She just has a little bit of hair. So she'll freeze her took us off. Right, girl? You took us off. That's why she likes to walk fast, most likely. She's a fast dog. Go get it. Go get it. Anyway, it was fun. I really wish we got more snow. I just that's why I live in the Northeast. I like the seasons, I like the spring and the fall and the winter. I like the change. When growing up, everything was in California. Every day was 76 and sunny. To certain people, that's amazing, but it got old for me. I was the happy kid when it was pouring rain out. I was like, yes, the change. Thank the gods. A few people coming in and dropping out. It's okay. Say what's up, people. Don't be shy. But, we got a little bit of a dusting, nothing crazy. I was hoping for more. They're always acting like it's going to be something crazy. Oh, New York City got together 100,000 tons of salt to get prepared. It's like, for what? A little bit of freaking snow? What is it? It's got to be the high 40s out. Let's take a look. It's a little colder. It's 35. But it does not feel like 35 outside. Definitely doesn't. And by Tuesday, by Wednesday, it's going to be high of 56. It's ridiculous. January, a high of 56. I think the past 5 to 8 years, winter has moved up a whole month. It's not that cold in December and January. Usually it's February and March now where it gets colder. I remember on April Fool's one year, maybe 2014, 2015, we woke up and there was like 12 inches of snow. I was like, whoa, April Fool's. You thought spring was around the corner. You thought it was spring. That was pretty funny. Same thing in October one time. We had it was like 18 inches of snow overnight. I remember because I took a picture of my work truck. I was like, I ain't coming in today. And I had, dig out the whole truck, which is pretty easy for my driveway, but still, I don't drive when it's like that. I just sit at home and chill and read and have a cocktail, whatever, relax. Life's too short. Gotta have times to really enjoy yourself, you know? There's always change and stress around the corner, so enjoy the moments while you can. Let's see what the cops are doing now. Got a lot of activity, actually. A lot of craziness in the city. You know, politicians are purposely ruining everything before elections so they can get up the hype, get up the fear like they always do. Doesn't matter what team you pick, they're all corrupt. It doesn't matter. That's why they call it the left wing and the right wing, because they all belong to the same bird. They just play you against each other. Not a whole lot of activity at the moment. There's this other station I listen to. It's in the city. It's 462 675. It's a GMRS, the General Mobile Radio Station, I believe, or service. It's a band that all civilians can use if you buy the license. It's like $30 for 10 years or something. Then you could legally set up a repeater or go on to other repeaters if you get access. A lot of them are self-funded, so you pay for, it's like a subscription, and they'll give you the tone so you can log in because it's encrypted, some of them. But this one's not. It's wide open, and there's always some just total douchebags on there, just running amok, you know. And obviously, the FCC doesn't do anything about it because they've been doing it for years and years. You know, they charge you, they give you licenses, but they won't uphold any laws they should. But God forbid you do something to their stuff. You're going to prison for life, buddy. The hypocrisy is real, my friends. It's real. But anyway, it's a fun station to listen to. I was on it a few years back because when I was a locksmith, again, I put a radio in the truck and I was in the city a lot. So that repeater, it's got a pretty big reach on it. Probably, I mean, I heard it when I was up in Harriman Park. That's an hour outside the city, a drive. It's not that close. I heard it when I was hiking in the mountains. I heard the repeater. That's how powerful it was. They're not going to pick up a handheld or anything out that far, but if I use a directional 50-watt antenna or something, that'll pick it up and then rebroadcast. It's pretty cool. But there's just so many douchebags out there ruining the whole station. So it's like, all the cool people just stay quiet, you know? It's like, what's the point? When you key up and start having a good conversation, the douchebags come along and just ruin everything, as they do. That's why a lot of these repeaters are private now, and they're all encrypted just to keep that kind of garbage away. It's like a CB radio. CB radios are just the wild west of radios. You don't need a license for any of that crap. And guys set it up now where they're going to angle their antennas and put multiple antennas and all kinds of mercury switches and stuff to enhance their signals. I mean, they'll hit the upper atmosphere, the ionosphere, and it'll bounce back down. And they'll literally talk across the country to people if you catch the right time of day where there's not a lot of interference. Before you leave, what's up? See, somebody jumped in real quick. But those radios are the Wild West because there's no regulations. All the truckers use it. And again, and it's been around for a while. So it's like everyone knows about a CB radio. In certain parts, you really want to have a CB radio. Like if you live in Alaska or something like that, was super rural, and you're not going to see a truck for another hour and change, that radio might save your life. You know, at least get the word out, and hopefully somebody can get to you and help you if you're in a bad situation. Super important radios, I believe. You know, they've saved a lot of lives. There's a reason all the first responders use these frequencies because they're reliable. They're there. And I love it. I love the whole tech aspect of it. Like I have a little 50-watt Kenwood here, a little base station. I mean, it's not really technically a base station. It's a mobile unit. It's meant for a car, but it's 50 watts. It's super powerful, and it's modified a little bit, so I get a bit more range on it. I did that myself. All you gotta do is take out one chip, and ooh, I get all the good channels. But it's pretty cool. I can't key up on a lot because I don't have a ham license, and I don't really want one. Honestly, there's no need for me to have one. I'll listen to them, but I'm not going to key up because I can't. Unless, of course, it's an absolute emergency. Then you can use the frequencies as you see fit to help you or to help whoever is in a bad situation.
Location 215 is 197. Take a list. 51-year-old male suffers from schizophrenia, acting erratic, not violent, no weapons or injuries at this time.
Somebody acting crazy.
It is 215 East 197, apartment 380, third floor, Grand Concourse, Valentine Avenue.
There's always a lot. Like I live in the Bronx, but I live in Riverdale. I live in the nicer part of the Bronx. But if you live anywhere nice, it's typically surrounded by garbage. And when I say garbage, it's just a lower class of people. It's unfortunate, but there are lower classes of people. Or people stuck in a situation that forces them to do certain things. There's always that too. It's never just black and white. But a lot of parts of the Bronx, like, man, it's just like all day, every call's in there, every call's there, every call's there. It's like, fuck. That area is tough, you know. I know. I used to live on 183rd in Jerome in the Bronx, between Jerome and Davidson. It's a tough neighborhood. It's always been a tough neighborhood. Even back when it was all Jewish and Irish. Still tough. They just happen to be Jewish and Irish. That's like back in the days, you know, when the Jews were the poorer people in the country. They were some of the best fighters too, because hardships always make stuff for people, you know. Same thing with the Irish. There was this tough Irish boxers back in the day when the Irish were like the Mexicans of America, you know what I mean? Not to disparage Mexicans, because there's just an abundance of them. And even from Mexico alone, they got some of the best boxers the world's ever seen. Like, come on now. Because they grew up in actual hardships. You know, you don't see spoiled rich kids become good fighters, because that's not what builds fighters. Can you stop trying to make out with me? There's people watching. It's kind of gross. Silly girl. I don't know. You're still doing it. Anyway, those calls come in a lot of those neighborhoods, and I know about those neighborhoods because I live there. Wait, hey, stop getting your wet nose all over my stuff. All right, get down. Good girl. Get me all dirty. You stay down. I said, stay down. She just wants to play. Bad timing, though, girl. All this time before I started the stream, we could have played, but no. But anyway, I always have this because I have family that lives in the other side of the Bronx and one that lives down just a little bit, or the address or the area I just told you about. I like to just keep an ear out because sometimes things happen right next door to him or around him. I'm just call up my uncle and my grandma, make sure they're fine, just to make sure. I'm not a worry wart about it, just, you know, a little precaution. Because if I have the tools and I can listen and I can possibly help or be there or whatever the situation may be, that's what you have it for, right? To use it. Anyway, I got my uncle that too. I got him, I gave him the unit I had in my work truck with the antenna, and it's a 25 watt mobile, but it has, you know, it's the Chinese radio, so they don't follow the regulations when they sell radios, so all kinds of illegal Chinese radios are out there where they don't have the FCC ban regulations. So to literally go from like 115 hertz all the way up to 5 and change, it's crazy, 500 and change. Which is not, there's nothing up there. It's too high of a frequency, but at least for these these band radios. But I gave that to him, and I need to get him a directional antenna because where he lives, there's a lot of congestion there. All this 5G crap everywhere now. The next generation's coming out soon, probably. I'll probably see another pandemic when that happens. But whatever. He's just loaded with interference all around him. So he, or at least my idea was we had directional antennas. And the directional antenna I got, let's see if I can show it. This is what I mean by directional. It's literally one direction. It's not omnidirectional. It doesn't create a big dome around and throw the signal in a circumference. It's only one shot one way, hence the arrow and all that Chinese writing. But this, I want to get 2 of these so we can put it up on a pole just like so, point it right at his house, and you can point one directly back at my house. And then every time you key up, it's going to be a direct shot, and it'll just blast through all that interference. We got it to work one time where he heard me loud and clear, but I only had this here, and he didn't have a directional to shoot back that signal properly. So we got to get another one. I'll put this back. And it's another thing that's cool about those directionals. You can trace people. Like if somebody's spamming you or just blowing up your repeater and just trying to cause interference, you can take that and triangulate exactly where that person will be, and just drive around and look for their antenna outside their house, and now you know exactly where they're at. That's what's another cool thing, because it's just a great tool. You can literally just hold it, mark a point, drive up, ride your bike, whatever you're doing. You don't have to use a huge radio. You can take a little handheld like this and just put an adapter so it can connect to that antenna properly. And just go around with the static on, and then just, kind of comb it, pick it up. Okay, it's strung there, key up. And then again, you want to do 2 more points so you can obviously triangulate it. It's pretty cool. That's how they do a lot of that. A lot of these guys will find a lot of people because there's a lot of tricks to radio. I find it super fascinating.
50 Charlie 1.
Obviously. 10-4. Anyway, I got work planned up for tomorrow, so I finally get to start a bathroom job. The homeowner actually gutted it himself for me, so that was kind of cool. We did all the messy work. Now that I got all my energy back, I'm back to my normal self, which is pretty sweet. And I can go and just knock this bad boy out. You mentioned the kitchen after, so we'll see if that goes through as well. If it does, there'll be a nice chunk of work for me because it's been kind of dead from Christmas, Yule to the New Year. It's been pretty lackluster. Been in the shop a little bit, as much as I could be from being sick, but again, I wanted to have this video out today, but that epoxy just wasn't dry. I'm not going to risk ruining all that work just to try and get a video out. It doesn't make sense. Because it probably wouldn't end up right anyway, and then I'd have to make a video on how I screwed up a knife rather than check out this cool knife. I'd rather not do those videos. I mean, I'm not opposed to posting those. I've seen other people make those videos, but I don't know. I'm not really into following the crowd. If somebody wants to do that, go for it. I'm not Alex Steele. I don't want to be. I'm just Joe. So I'll do what I feel is right. I try and take your guys' opinions when whoever does voice an opinion. I don't get a lot of feedback, but I do get some of you. and I'm grateful for you. Those few that do, including my mama. She's out there. And let's see who leaves a lot of comments. Schmeghead Goat, he seems cool. He leaves some cool comments. I got, I think that's Ike Apple, at Ike Apple. Some user something, a Russian dude. So I know a little Russian, but Russia's huge. There's like 195 different ethnic groups in Russia. So yeah, they all speak Russian for the most part, but again, Russian is not an exact translation to English, and a lot of the dialect they speak over there, some of it's ghetto, some of it's like country, so it's like trying to translate some of it's just a migraine. Evil Twin X, he was there for the beginning of my channel. I haven't seen him lately. Hope he's doing well. Mossy Forging, he made some cool stuff on his channel, I believe. David Menon, 54.95. Stephen Anderson. David again, Mossy, my mama. Who else? Yeah, those are the most, those look like the most responded people or messages left. Let's see if there's any more. All right, Jay Turner, Handmade Knives. What's up, buddy? Look back here. Okay, just me still. It was JMB Studio 6873. Thank you on the nice job. Turner again, what's up? Schmeghead again. What's up? Just some random username asking a question about when I made that forged throwing knife. I was wondering, seems like you waste a lot of material. Well, I don't waste anything. That's just extra material being cut off. I filled them in. And again, literally the knife I made, the material I made it out of was literally someone else's garbage. So it's clearly not wasting anything. I'm not a wasteful person. There's no scraps of food ever left on my plate. I don't throw anything out unless it's spoiled, which never happens. I don't ever let food spoil. I grew up dirt poor, man. I know what it's like to not have food to eat. Bruised Helmet, another cool guy early on in the channel. Actually bought something from me too. The first person to buy something off of YouTube from me, which is sweet. Max Fox, another Russian dude or dudette, I don't know. These usernames, I don't like these stupid usernames they give some of these people. Mostly people out of the country, they have just @user and then a bunch of letters and numbers. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe they just don't change it, or maybe where the country they're at, it's a different language, so they just, when they post in another country or something, they just give it a name and numbers. I don't know. I don't know. Pie Paw looking really dope. Gerard Stimois, I think. Pro SM. I'm not sure. Promo SM. I think that's promotion something. I think people use that just to say like, we're going to promote your channel or shout it out. I don't know. I doubt they did, but if they did, cool. Wolander Forge. Perfect. Thank you. David Stewart. Dope. Thank you. Schmeghead again. A lot of support from the Schmeghead. Thanks, Goat. Quality work. All right. Quizabella. A lot of interesting names. Flea. Again, user. Bravo, Mr. David again. Evil again. These are like 3 months old now, comments I'm looking at. Type of drill bits, nothing special. David again. Greg Cook, 1571. Thanks, buddy. Yeah. One guy says, when I made the pipe hawk, he's like, I would try to get it from you. How much would you like? Yeah, I gave my email, no response. I'm never going to post a price on a chat. It's not going to happen. When you do business, you get it all in writing through emails. That's how you do business. That's how I do business. So there's a paper trail, people. It's that simple. My stepbrother, Brooklyn 6293. Nice, bro. Where is that? Talking about when I went near the river and made that little short video. I go down there sometimes when I feel the urge. I love the Hudson River. I absolutely love the Hudson River. It's an amazing, there's something about it. The energy around it. It flows both ways, which is pretty cool because the ocean's pushing in and obviously the river's coming down from north. I mean, there's parts of the Hudson River that you can hop across just with your feet. And then it gets so wide that you need a boat towards the end of it. It's miles across. It's amazing and super deep. And you can see the currents pulling in different directions. It's pretty crazy. I actually like upstate New York a lot because there's a lot of cool, like you see those books in stores. I'm sure you've seen them like, let me look it up. I'm pretty sure it's like Weird Tales. I want to open up another window in here. I might lag the stream, but like, it's like Weird New Jersey, Weird New York. I think it's those weird books. Let's see what Weird New Jersey. Let's see. I'm going to see if they're books. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, exactly. They're the weird books. Let's see if I can throw an image up here. I'll get better in the future. I'll use like StreamYard or something so I can share my screen and be, well, when people start to show the fuck up and care about me, interact a little bit. But this is like the weird, you've seen them, the weird books. I'm sure you guys and girls have seen them in stores. But they're just full of weird, spooky tales of mostly like upstate New York it's rife with supernatural. It's where spiritualism started in New York. I mean, in the country, the turn of the century, with like the Fox sisters and the rapping and all the seance stuff. A lot of that stuff is just woo. It's all garbage, but there's real energies behind it, and some of those people are super interesting. They've written some amazing books. Again, a lot of them have been full of crap, and they admitted it. But there's also a lot of them that recanted their stories on their deathbed. It's typically when you tell the truth because you're about to die, and who cares, right? So if you recant it, like I was actually lying, I just didn't want the heat on me. I find that interesting. There's all kinds of crazy stuff in upstate New York. There's whole towns with disgusting Satanists and everything too. Like if you drive through that town, they're going to get you out of there quick. Come on, the Clintons lived up there. Come on now. Come on now, they got a history. But there's a lot of nice up there too. I mean, I don't know. New York is it's an amazing state. People think New York, they think of New York City. And New York City is amazing too. It's a city. Cities always come with baggage and garbage, but you've seen some of my videos for the people who care to watch them, like the bike ride into Gotham, or I take you through just a couple buildings. That one building was the Masters building. And then again, that was a part of the spiritualist revival. They built that building literally because they believed they were going to have a world teacher live in that top penthouse, and that would be an epicenter. And that's what that building was I don't think they use that, but they use a building on the east side. But the east side building, or the building they built for the Ghostbusters movie, is based off the Masters building. It's kind of cool, like Ivor Shandor. Like, come on, Dan Aykroyd is all into this. It's all about his life. His whole life is about spiritualism and UFOs and the supernatural. I mean, look at his vodka company, Crystal Head, it's Crystal Head Vodka. It's a great vodka. I've had it. It comes from Canada. But the whole point of the Crystal Head is because it's all the crystal heads that we found across the world, and some of them may be fake. I don't know. What the fuck do I know? But it's got cool history behind it. Like, how are these made? Like hard as diamond, but perfectly polished and carved, and however long ago. Who knows, right? And giant skulls and cool stuff like that. I've got a book on giants. I've never read it. I will eventually. Let's see where it's at. I think it's here. I got a couple. I believe. Yeah, the same authors. So we have Giants on Record. Again, I haven't read either of these, but these have old newspaper clippings, and they go through the whole history. Double rows of teeth and how tall they were. I mean, every culture and every religious scripture, they all have giants in them. There's no reason to think that they never existed. And the second one they did together was the Giants of Stonehenge in ancient Britain. A pretty sweet cover, right? I love that. Like, the first cover is a little more on the nose with like the Smithsonian covering shit up, which obviously they do, but it's got cool clippings. I don't know if all of these are real because it's hard to tell, but I don't know. I still like the mystique behind it. And this one's pretty sweet. I like that cover a lot. Again, I'm not huge into giants, but I'm into the lore. I like it. The Jotun, they were giants. The gods were half giant. They come from giants themselves. I don't fall into the crowd where this is just all myth and fairy tale. And myth and fairy tales doesn't mean it's fake. It just means it's so damn old, and they're deeper truths. You read Plato, like, come on, people. Got a bunch of John Keel over here too. If you don't know John Keel, there's something wrong with you. At least in my humble opinion. I only have a red forehead, folks. Started off with the first one I read. Will this be a surprise? The Mothman Prophecies. Love the movie too. Love the movie. Richard Gere. It's a great movie. I even like the actor who played John Keel in the movie. I can't remember his name. Strange Creatures from Time and Space. John Keel. I haven't actually read this one though. I will. I just bought it because it was cheap and easy. And it actually came in not all beat up from Amazon. That's a shocker. Disneyland of the Gods. Another interesting book. Keel and the Eighth Tower. Very good book from Keel. Very good book. Some people were saying like they were super scared when they read this book. This book's not scary at all. It is interesting though. Mothman Prophecies is very good. There are better covers out there, but this one's actually kind of cool because you can see kind of down the highway and the Mothman Prophecy and the Mothman in the back. It's pretty cool. I like this. I like cryptid stuff. I think it's interesting. I'm sure some of it's, nonsense and just people being scared, seeing stuff they don't understand. It's possible. Sticking on the same thing. This is a very good book. This is The Messengers, Owl Synchronicity, and the UFO Abductee by Mike Cleland. Obviously, if you just Google this guy's name, everything owls is this guy. He's got so many stories with owls. But you actually learn a lot in here about the phenomena. And there's a lot of lore behind owls, as I'm sure you know. If you're of European descent, you know there's a plethora of owl lore. And it's typically an ominous thing. Like there's going to be a family death or something like that. You see an owl who's outside your window and just going away at you, giving you that big old stare. We got classics. Got some classics here. This is probably the two books of Supernatural that are a little older. We have Passports to Magnolia by Jacques Vallée. And this is actually an older edition. I found this, it was an estate sale, and this dude was all in. Hey, two people in here. What's up, man? Before you leave. But it was an estate sale I got these books in, and they were selling this guy. He lost his mind, and obviously they had to put him in the home. It's super sad, but this dude had a crazy, eclectic collection of books from Carl Jung and a deep psychological lore, and just a crazy UFO section. But this book's from 1969. This is an older printed book. This is nice. I mean, it's harder to find these. In pretty good shape. Not all beat up. But they were literally telling you in this estate sale, take a plastic bag, like a shopping bag, fill it up full of books, $1. $1. It's what they were asking for, but I didn't feel right doing it. You know what I mean? This is a beautiful book. Just this one book, easily, like 60, 70 bucks. And there was another one. Speaking of Carl Jung, this is another book I got for pennies on the dollar. Carl Jung on psychology and alchemy. This is not a cheap book. This is a hardcover in perfect condition, beautifully engraved all throughout. It's a beautiful book, absolutely gorgeous. You know anything about Carl Jung? He's real deep. Real deep. Again, this was part of this same man's collection. I'm glad I was able to get some cool books. It was really cool. And a very crazy work. I'm sure if anyone's into this stuff, you'll see. But the complete books, I should say works, but it's books, of Charles Fort. The Damned, Low, Wild Tenants, and New Lands. Now, Charles Fort's a trip. Now, let me put these back real quick. A couple of these. Now, when I say he's a trip because some of the stuff he was talking about, it's almost unbelievable. But it's all backed up. It's all backed up by old newspaper clippings. He literally went to the library every damn day, back in the days. Before this century started, I believe. But he went to the library, and it's the New York City Library, beautiful library, if anyone's ever been. And he would do all his research there, days and days and days and days, and in and out. But that's where he got a lot of his information, these old newspaper clippings, just reeling through them. And he would itemize everything and write it down. Literally, he gives you dates of almost everything that happens. Like literally meat falling from the sky. The fish thing I can see a little bit falling from the sky because I guess technically with the evaporation, it could bring up some eggs. They can hatch up there a little bit up in the upper atmosphere, if maybe, I don't know, and fall back down of larger sized fish, I guess. I don't know. But these are like full-size fish. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's possible. Maybe that's God just seeding some fish. Hey, we got to field some lakes in. You guys have been eating too much. I don't know. This world's way trippier than I can imagine. Than we can imagine. Raining blood. All kinds of green sky. The one I like is he was a New Yorker, and he has a lot of interesting information on there'd be this daytime thunder in the sky, and there's no clouds. It's a sunny day, and there'd be this roaring thunder in the sky, like the gods are battling or something. I don't know. I found that pretty fascinating. But this book is just loaded with stuff. Loaded. Again, this is his complete works essentially, so it's pretty damn hefty. It's got his 4 books in here. The Book of the Damned would be his first, and I'm still working through it. I actually gave it a break a while ago. I do that sometimes. It's 1,062 pages of just craziness. I mean, it's awesome. I love this. Real or fake? I don't have any. How would I word this? I don't have any pretenses about it. Like I'm not stuck to any one train of thought. You know, I like it all. I'm open to it all. You know, if it's real, if it's fake, whatever. I don't know. I can't prove it either way. So it really doesn't matter, in my opinion, if it's real or fake. A lot of other cool. Oh, there's a public opinion book in my propaganda. What was there? These are the 2 books I was talking about on the last stream. This may be a book stream. I don't know. I just love books, and I'm not in my shop, so talking about blacksmithing is kind of out of the question. Unless somebody interacts and brings it up, and I'll be happy to. But this is the propaganda book, Edward Bernays I was talking about. Again, super thin, super cheap, loaded. Let me read you the first paragraph. Not the introduction, the very first paragraph. If you don't read this book at all, just read the first paragraph. Go into a store and read the first paragraph. I'll read it to you now to save you that once I get to it. All right, is this it? Oh, I got a mark on the book. Anyway, chapter 1, Organizing Chaos. The conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. Those who manipulate this unseen mechanisms of society constitute an invisible government, which is the true ruling power of our country. How is that not important to read? Again, if you don't read the whole book, read the very first paragraph. It lays it all out for you. It's super important. And public opinion, Walter Lippmann. A bit bigger. Sorry, I don't know if you saw that quick. It's a bit bigger. You know, it's a normal size book, a little over 250, 260 pages. Kind of small print. A lot of these books, these cheaper books, they have real small print and it doesn't take up the whole page. So, I mean, you do kind of go through it quicker, but not everyone can read that. So I can read that small font. I don't wear glasses or anything, but you know, this makes a little more sense. It fills the whole page. It's a little bigger, single spacing still. Again, these are the books I was talking about. Great books, worth reading. If you really want to understand what's going on around us, the games being played towards us, those would be the books, in my humble opinion. In my humble opinion. A couple other interesting books. Well, this one's very interesting. Oops, knocking my shit down. Well, there's one author I think everybody should read if you're into anything esoteric or occult or secret societies and all that jazz. It's Manly P. Hall. This is his The Secret Destiny of America. It's got a little seal on there. It shows the original seal. We have our seal, which is an eagle, and the original seal, which is a phoenix. There's a reason it's a phoenix, because America is the new Atlantis, essentially. Why do you think we're a little over 200 years old and we've been leading the world ever since we started? You know what I mean? That's kind of unheard of. And again, we're a continuation of Rome's power, so that too. Amazing book, amazing author. It's The Secret Teaching of All Ages, his real tome. I think he wrote it when he was 27 or something. I mean, I look at 27-year-olds now, I think they're kids, but this dude was just so intellectually above and beyond anyone around him. Like, he was just so impressive. And that was like his magnum opus, and he did it when he was a kid. And then, how do you, I don't know, how do you make up for that? Like, in your later years in life, what do you do when your greatest work ever was when you were a kid? I don't know. So his life fell off after that. But now you got a couple of Mitch Horowitz books. Cult America. This is a great book of breaking down. I got this pretty cheap too. It's a nice paperback or hardback, excuse me. I love that font. Look at that font. Look how fucking cool that font looks. I like Mitch. He's a very good speaker. He's a very good speaker. This is the first edition too. Look at that. 2009. I got this thing dirt cheap on eBay. Because I hate paperbacks. And yeah, you can find paperbacks everywhere, but I didn't want one. I wanted a real one. But it covers a lot, like I was telling you about the Fox sisters and Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, Penny P. Hall's in here as well. A lot of the original occultists in America. And Blavatsky's not an American, but she came here and she's the one that started with Alcott and everyone. And his more of a recent book from him, On Certain Places. It's a good book. Again, I like Mitch Horowitz. He's a very good author. He's obviously very intelligent, very well spoken. He holds some views like a lot of people that I just don't agree with. But it doesn't matter, you know. Those are his opinions. It's perfectly fine. And I like to hear him either way, even if I don't agree with him. But his books are very good. It's very well written. A lot of good research. That Manly P. Hall book I was telling you, I'll show you this book. Now, just looking at this book, it's huge, right? What's funny is the original book was that much bigger. It was just like, bam! It was a huge book. This thing got dirty. What the hell? This book actually came in the mail all fucking beat up. I was so upset. It's a $110 book. Whatever. I had two, and I just bought this one because it was a nicer edition. The other one was this is cloth bound. It's all Chinese printed, but they did a decent job. The other one's cloth bound, and there's a couple things in the book that were misprinted. They even had, there you are. I even bought a paperback of this book, which is the one I was going to read through. It's just way more easier to hold this than this monstrosity. But there's whole chapters missing out of this fucking thing, like the ceremonial magic, which I'm not really into that, but I want to read about it. The whole chapter's missing. I'm getting tired of this, of these publishers not doing things properly, cutting corners and being half-ass. But that's mass production these days. But this book is, if you're into any of this stuff, this is the book to get. If you're going to start off somewhere, get this one. Excuse me. This book is beautiful too. Look at this. It's the cover page. Huge, beautifully illustrated. Beautiful. Like, this is just, and it covers everything. Hermeticism. It covers the Odinic faiths, like Odin. My faiths. Well, path. It's not a faith. I don't need to have faith in it. I know it's real. Kabbalah, which I don't believe to be originally Jewish at all. Again, the Hermetic pharmacologies, chemistry. I mean, just beautiful. I mean, all these old, beautiful, beautiful engravings. That's alchemy right there. The masculine and the feminine joining. Absolutely gorgeous. Really, really cool. This book it's just packed full. The elements and their inhabitants. Look at this. It's a wizard standing in a circle with all these little fairies and gnomes and nymphs and sylphs. Those are all elementals. Earth elementals, water, fire, air. Like all these pictures, they hold so much symbology. It's absolutely amazing. It's, again, like I said in the last video, that's why when we go look at all of our ancestors, it's not a race thing here. All of our ancestors, it was all symbols everywhere. There were not words everywhere. Words came in a little later when civilization started. And that's kind of where real truth and knowledge separated from and put us in where we're at now, because the word, even Socrates said, like, the word it's bad. When you write it down, it's like when I was a kid, I remembered like 50 phone numbers in my head and I just knew them. Now I know like one or two. And those are old numbers from back then, you know what I mean? Like my mom's number, I'll never forget it because I've dialed it like 100,000 times and she still has it. But when you start writing things down, you're giving away your power essentially, and you're putting it in a book. And now that book holds that power. Because now, unless you're really studied and practiced, you don't memorize it anymore. Because you know you can go read it. So, you know, your subconscious remember everything. Everything you hear and see, and everything, your spinal cord, your nervous system, because your nervous system is what jacks us into this realm. It picks up everything and it remembers every single thing, but we're not able to bring it to our conscious mind to remember it. There's blocks there because we don't use that ability as much as we should. So it is what it is, but that's why writing things down was not the best thing. It's good that we did. Excuse me, because we have this work still. Pardon me. Like I'd give anything to be able to walk down in the Vatican archives. I would love to see all the books they stole from the Library of Alexandria before it burned down, because I don't think they let that shit burn. I think they burned it after they took out what they wanted. You could burn the lesser books, but the real important stuff, these guys are not going to let that stuff disappear. It's too important. Again, about the seals, you can see over here the original phoenix head, and then the eagle, which they changed it to. The original was a phoenix. Phoenix is super important. This book is just loaded. I mean, if you're a Christian, if you're a Buddhist, if you're Islam, if it doesn't matter. Hermeticists, organic practices. I mean, everything. It's all in here. He covers everything. It's really beautiful. Like just this one book is such a masterpiece. It truly is. Where's the organic practices? Fold it up. Yeah, look at that. I can't turn the book around here. This huge fold out of the Egyptian. I don't know if that's on a cartouche or I don't know. It reminds me of, I just went to the Met. If you saw the video, you know that. But I did film a lot of the things in the Egyptian part, because we have a pretty cool Egyptian part. Like I filmed the whole, they have the Book of the Dead there, and it goes down the whole wall. I remember when I was walking out with my bro Anthony, because we went there together. He never been, so I went there with him to show him. And we're walking out, and I'm looking at this papyri on the wall, and I'm walking down. I go, okay, reincarnation. Okay, that's interesting. And I see like the outer body stuff, and I see like the rites of Osiris. I go, what the fuck is this? And I go to the front, and go, holy shit, this is the Book of the Dead. This is amazing. I'm walking by this, and they just have it up like it's a long poster. You know, not to belittle how they're preserving it, so it's a beautiful thing. But I mean, this is the Book of the Dead. Like the esoteric teachings and stuff is just, it's above and beyond anything you'll ever fucking read. It's amazing. Egyptian rites. There's so much in that one picture. It's like reading a book, just looking at that picture. You just sit and meditate on that. It's absolutely amazing. If there's one book to get into any of this kind of stuff, to really round your knowledge out, this is the one to get, hands down. Look at that. The All-Father, Atlantis and the Gods of Antiquity. It's a clue there. Olfa, human in the woods. That's more of a solar depiction of him. It's very light and almost happy looking. Must have been the younger All-Father before he knew everything. And he got all kind of gloomy. Knowing everything will do that. I don't want to know everything. We got Abraxas, like the oldest depiction of the demiurge. Crazy chicken with serpent legs. Again, all symbolic. It's like in Egypt when you see a dog head. What are dogs? Just think about what a dog's purpose is and their archetype. They're protectors. They're guards. Hence guard dog, right? That's why Anubis protected the underworld. We had a dog head, right? Same thing with the Native Americans. When they said like the Crow tribe, it's because they had embodied the characteristics of Crow, right? They were more scavenger people. They were real squawky. And they traveled in packs, as crows do. It's rare to see a crow by itself. There's always more around. I mean, you'll see it, of course, but they travel in packs for reasons. This thing is just packed full. I love this book. I actually haven't read this book. I've listened to it in audio. It's like a 24-hour audio file, which is kudos goes out to the guy who read it, even though he pronounced like 20% of the words wrong. But unless you're into this stuff, it's hard to pronounce a lot of this. I understand. But he did a good job either way, and I don't take it personal because I know how to pronounce most of them, not all of them. I got lucky. I was married to a Greek, so she helped me with how to pronounce a lot of different words, and she was pretty intelligent to begin with. Good. Must be past hour mark to start coughing. Yep, there you go. Hour 17. Again, this book is amazing. I love this book. I wish it didn't come beat up, but the pages are flawless. It just has you're not gonna be able to see it, but there's a crush right here on the spine and a bump on the corner here, and this one here. It happens. That stuff used to set me off pretty bad. I used to just return everything, leave bad reviews, and get all freaking butthurt. But now I just don't really care as much. It's not that important. I read some pretty interesting books lately. I won't go through all the books, but I don't give a fuck because this is what I enjoy. Freddie Silva's Scotland's Hidden Sacred Past. This is a very interesting read because in Orkney Islands, there's all these crazy monoliths there. Like, for what reason also? Because a lot of times this island was underwater. And within his research, he went over to Sardinia, which is a totally different people, right? They're of Italian descent or Etruscan, probably. Who knows? Now they're their own people, but back then, and I think they have genetic links to the Basque people. But either way, he found links to those people in the same kind of megalithic buildings, which is amazing. So maybe old Scotland, before the Scots were there, maybe they were different people and they built those monoliths. Maybe they're not actually from the Scots. Who knows? I don't know. Very interesting read. Very interesting. Ishak Bentov, Stalking the Wild Pendulum on the Mechanics of Consciousness. It's a very interesting book. It's very this dude's obviously very, very above me when it comes to intelligence. He's very smart, but he breaks things down really well. Sound waves and vibrations. There's all kinds of cute little hand-drawn illustrations to give you a visual. He talks about how waves and frequencies in this one chapter, and then he'll go on. You know, there's a lot in it. Like that's 20-something pages of that subject matter. Oscillating fields. This is very science heavy. And this comes from a genius that didn't even like finish high school or something. Isn't that amazing? I love that. The void. I mean, he goes into a lot. And just how consciousness works and how we perceive things around us and how we pick things up. It's a very interesting book. And another cool book. This is actually a YouTuber. I think his channel is called Library of the Untold. He makes really cool videos. Again, about all these subjects and esoteric teachings and the like. But he wrote this book for his boy, I believe. J.W. Phipps, excuse me. It's called Book of Wonderful Suffering on the Transmutation of Pain into Spiritual Growth. Interesting cover, too. This book is full of really, I mean, he wrote, I'm trying to remember what he said, but I believe he wrote this book, he dedicated to his son and all generations to follow. But he wrote this book because he kind of wanted to write one book that has all the subjects in it that will kind of give you a big base and cover a lot of the different teachings and ideas, thoughts, and whatever. But, you know, he's got the black cube in here. You should know about that. The way of Freemasonry, the radiant thoughts, creativity, and linked to divinity. Evolution is creation. Nothing exists without another. The ancients communicate to us today through symbols and parables. Very true. Sacrifice now is pleasure later. I was kind of talking about that in the last video. Again, it goes on like who are the grays? Meditation tunes the soul. You are the mastery. There's a lot of good in here. If a lot of kids read this stuff instead of half the crap we have out there, there'd be a lot more complete human beings out there. Of that, I'm very convinced. Because we're so distracted with all this boobs bouncing around and stupid sports games that mean absolutely nothing, even those are rituals that you're not paying attention to, but your subconscious is. There's just so much going on, man. Yeah, like 666. Scary number, everyone thinks. WWW is 666 as well. But again, it's just carbon-12 molecule, 666. It's 6 electrons, 6 protons, and 6 neutrons. You know what I mean? It's Lucifer is the ruler of this world. Carbon-12 is us. We're carbon-based life forms. See the bread trails leading to each other? It's very fascinating. Black cube at Mecca. A lot there, people. Just gotta look. It's all there. Nobody's hiding anything. Fascinating. Fascinating. What else should I show y'all if you care? These are pretty fascinating books. Now, the guy behind these books, Wagner, again, Nazi, whatever. I don't know. I don't know any of that crap. There's just people guessing, but we do know Hitler loved his work. He was a composer and an artist. But these are 2 editions from Easton Press. Beautiful editions. Oop, excuse me. So you can see them. So I don't remember which one's first, but it's Siegfried and the Twilight of the Gods and Rheingold and the Valkyrie. Now these books, even Manly P. Hall speaks about them because his works, if you really pay attention to them, they give you esoteric teachings, kind of like the Elysian Mysteries schools, and the kind of secret initiatory rites that the Greeks had. This is it, but for Scandinavians. So these tales will literally give you the keys to that, to their Odinic mysteries. And they are beautiful books, beautifully illustrated. All this absolutely, look at that, just hammering away. Sure, that anvil that big. It's just absolutely beautiful. It's mini at the anvil. And again, these are essentially his plays, but they're just full of the esoteric teachings of the Odinic rites. That's why a lot of this stuff has to do with going underground, because that's where they did it. It was in secret within the realm of the earth. It's absolutely beautiful, beautiful. What was forget the illustrator's name. It's just beautiful work. Translated. Rheingold. Where is the illustrator? Show me, please. Illustrations by Arthur Rackman. His work is beautiful. Nothing. Conquering sword. And then you have the Norns over here webbing the fates of man on the right. Absolutely gorgeous. His artwork is stunning to me. I find it absolutely stunning. I love it. These are nice books. Obviously I got all these secondhand, about $100 a book, something like that. And these are collectors. Look at it. Forging the Northbound. I really wish this would focus better. I'm sorry, guys. I'll get a better camera in the future, and once people start giving a fuck about the live stream, we'll go from there. Because I do enjoy this. I know some people enjoy it. They watch it. My last video, I think 37 people or something watched it after, which is cool. I'm down with that. If you do watch it, you don't have to watch it live, even though that is the goal of this. I want people to join in and shoot the shit with me, and helps me talk about things as well. But these books are amazing. This is a 2-volume set. This one is a little, the guy said like new, but I've got a very keen eye to things. Like the gilding. You see that spotting on the gilding? That was mold. The other one, there's no spotting. That's just a couple little marks from the hands. I can spot this shit. Don't smell like mold at all, though, or mildew. But you can tell, forgive me, you can't tell, but I can tell by looking at it. There's a slight wave to the paper, just meaning it was kept in a more humid environment. Like the knife is sitting on top of a dehumidifier because I care about my books. So I'm not going to allow this room. And again, I live in the Northeast, so it is very humid here in the summertime. If you don't have an AC on, it's like 80-90% humidity inside your house. So unless you like that kind of thing, expect mold to show up. But I'm not going to allow that. I put way too much money into this. Look at this. Raging Voltan rides to the rock. Like a storm wind he comes. That fucking art is amazing. I believe you can buy his prints too. I don't remember. I looked into it one time. Probably saw the price and cried a little bit, but whatever. Because like that, I would love to have a print of that. It's just so beautiful. You can see Schleppnir with the 8 legs and just huffing wind. Beautiful storm coming down. The All-Father just raging forward. Fucking awesome. And I love these beautiful illustrations. This whole cover page is all hand inked. It's beautiful. I mean, obviously it's a copy for the book, but and these are 2001 copies. It's not an old book, but it's nice. This one looks flawless. This looks brand fucking new. It just means it wasn't read, and I read them. Absolutely gorgeous artwork. And these pages, you hear that snap. Quality paper. I love Easton Press books. They make quality books. I've got quite a few Easton Press books. But these books are very important. A lot of teachings are in this book, in his work in general. Here's another great book. This author is very interesting, actually. He's Scandinavian, but he lives in South America now, I believe. And let's see if I get his full name for you. Nicola de Matatos Frisvold. I don't know if I pronounced that right. If I didn't, sorry. But this is Troll Room. It's got a beautiful sigil on the front. Troll Room. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now, I like this author's work. Look at that. I love that gold. You can't really see it, but it's like a gold flake, thick, nice end paper. It's freaking gorgeous. It feels super nice too. I don't like it when they just put regular paper, colored paper on end paper, because the end paper is kind of what's holding the book block into the book. So if that paper wears out eventually, the book will tear off. But when it's like a real thick, flexible lining, you know it's going to hold up. Hey, if somebody's in here, say what's up in the chat. But anyway, this guy is Scandinavian. I believe he's Norwegian. I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter. But his work is beautiful in this book. The way he wrote it, he gives you a lot behind. Like if he gives you a subject, he'll give you a story with it, like an old mythology and a tale, to kind of help you link it together and to understand it better, which I really like. And towards the end, he does what a lot of Scandinavian writers don't do. He went into the star lore. Like everyone talks about the Greek star lore and the Native American star lore and the Indian Vedic star lore. But when people talk about the old traditional writings of Norwegians, the Scandinavians, the Danes, the Finns, they don't ever go into their star lore. Their star lore is probably more important than everyone else's because they literally have the polar star above their head. The sun would just circle them like a serpent because it would never really come above the horizon at certain times of the year. They were literally felt like they were trapped in a ring, like the ringlands, like Atlantis. You know, they were all ringlands. I mean, it's chapter 1, the Northern Traditions. Chapter 2, Old Norse Cosmology, Trolldom, which is, you know, kind of dark magic. Everything troll was like almost a negative connotation. Like you'd spit on the ground like an old grandmother, troll, you know. It was just part of it. It's very interesting. Like the word important when it comes to their team. The origins of the runes, magic runes, and runic magic, runic cosmology, the secret of the runes. You know, there's a lot of great, again, symbolism and the rune drums. There's a lot of greatness in here. This guy, it's a very good book. It's a good size book too. You know, pushing 400 pages towards the end. But it's really well done. It really is. I was very impressed by this guy's work. There you go. Hey, Smeg, what's up, man? Damn, can't stay. BL, watch it later. What's going on? There you go. It looks like we're back now. Smeghead, thanks for coming around, man. Appreciate you. Looks like my clock stopped. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. All right, I think we're still live. Anyway, this is a great book. A very good author. Griswold. Very good. Very good. Good read. I'll go through all the books here. We're going to have a lot more live streams. We're going to have a lot more live streams, that's for sure. But that guy was I got to show you another one now. It's good squatting exercise for my ass. this guy also. I was listening to a podcast, an astrology podcast, excuse me. Maybe I'll watch it later. All right. Let me just say something in chat. Thanks, bro. The other book, I was listening to a podcast and they had this guy on because I guess they met at some time. But it's Andreas Cornwall. Waking the Dragons. So the Norse myth, ruined in magic. It's a very well written book. Not a big book, but a decent book. Just under 184 pages. That's total. But this book was very interesting because, again, he gets into Star lore. You know, I really want to hear more about that because nobody fucking writes about it. And it's super important. It explains all the mythologies, or at least ties it together, you know. And this guy, he throws it in there as well. And again, like the last book I spoke about, he gives you whole mythological tales to tie together what he's talking about. It just helps you understand it better. The prose behind it. Chapter 1, Time and Memory and Remembering. What's the chapters of this? Do I have chapters set up in the front? Yes, they do. I just didn't see it. So the Ancient Grandmother, Mythos and Logos, The Witch in the Future, Time and Memory. Well, that was the introduction. That's interesting. Time and Memory, Remembering the Mythos and Time and the Three Norns. The Earlog, The Original Laws. Norse Creation, The Myth Cycle, Drinking the Stars, Creation Myth, The Runes of Creation. Now, again, I like this star lore in this because, like, we have so much of the Greek and Roman because it's a little closer to us in history. You know, the Scandinavian eras, they're much older than we know they are. Now, we think they're, you know, around the Viking Age, the 8th to the 10th century, roughly, because year 1000 is when the all thing happened, and basically all the kings converted everyone to Christianity. They got rid of the old gods, and that was basically the death of Scandinavia when it came to their tradition. I mean, their tradition lasted. I can't say that. That would be disrespectful. Because they never really gave it up. They just changed it into Christian iconography. You know? That's why you can see Loki in Christianity, because they just threw those gods over, so it'd be easier to convert everyone. You know? That's how it happened, people. So, Yggdrasil, Mead Poetries. I mean, there's just a lot in it. It's a small book, but he puts a good amount in here. It's a fun read. It really is. But the Northern Star lore, I want to know more about it. And there's actually people who have taken, excuse me, the celestial star maps, where there's like Hercules and all these constellations of the Greek gods or the Greco-Roman gods, whatever. And they show you where it would be northern gods, you know, like Frigga's distaff and the high seat. And they're there in the constellations. They're there. So it's nice to have our you know, people who descended from Northern European stock. It's nice to have those tales as well, because that part, when the conversion was happening, there's just so much lost, and nobody was really talking about it. And unless you grew up there, you didn't hear the stories from your grandmother or grandfather or great grandmother or great grandfather, you know, if they said it at all. You know, you couldn't practice in the open. Some places you could. Like there's parts in Russia where you could. The conversion happened there too, but it wasn't like how it happened in Scandinavia. That's why all their flags have crosses on it, because they were literally stamping them out. And, you know, it gives you the realms, the Asgard, Vanaholm, Light Elf. Calls them different names in here, like Giant Home. It doesn't give you the actual name. He might later. Vanaheim. Helheim. We're in Midgard, obviously. We're in the middle realm. That's why we're here to learn, folks. It's got some pretty cool sigils in here as well, or bind runes. Yggdrasil remembering. Pretty cool looking. Again, it's a nice book. This is a book I will definitely read again because it was a very good book. Very good book, in my opinion. And I'll show you another one. Keeping with the northern stock. Now, this author, he's an academic. He's very knowledgeable. His personal and political views, I would never get behind because I think he's psychotic, like a lot of Scandinavians are these days. They're just too democratic. It's almost nauseating. Like when you have on your website and big red letters against racism, like, what the fuck are you doing? You can be against racism, but you don't have to like wave a flag about it. Most people are against racism. But you know how you combat racism? It's very simple. For one, you ignore those people and you just let them just disappear to the outskirts of society where they belong. And you educate your damn society so your kids don't grow up to be racist assholes because they're going to take after the people around them, right? Anyway, so again, he's very intelligent. He has a lot of great views and videos. He has a YouTube channel as well. But this is the Nordic Animist Year. Rune Reinjo Rasmussen. Sure I fucked your name up, but I don't care. My apologies. But it's a great book. What he did is he gives you a huge breakdown on the traditional animist calendars. And he actually made a calendar. Excuse me. Now this is the Wheel of the Year. And there's a lot to it. It's not that simple, but essentially, let's go back to see if I can find the Shimba. Where was it? We'll just go to January. Fuck it. But he breaks it down where it's our Gregorian calendar, but with the feast days and the weekdays and I think these are called the golden runes. I don't remember. Not every day had one. But he essentially gave us back kind of an animist worldview calendar for our modern calendar, which I thought was absolutely fascinating. And like Krampus Night. Man, I'm sorry, guys. It gives you a breakdown of all the traditional holidays. Like Yule and when they're actually celebrated, not like everyone thinks it's on the solstice. It's really not. There's more about the new moons and full moons because our original calendar was on a 19-year metonic cycle, which is the moon. So there'd be a leap year in there. Oh my fucking gods. Midsummer Eve, summer solstice. The solstices are obviously very important. And so are the new moon after it or around it. May days and the maypole. And stuff like St. George Day, which were original pagan holidays, but they got to put saints on everything so they can, again, carry on the tradition, but not get their fucking head cut off. Very interesting book. And it comes, well, you could get his calendars as well. He puts one out every year. I didn't get the one this year for whatever reason, but it is. All right. Probably going to end up calling it here. It's almost 3 o'clock. We're going on 2 hours now. Thank you to everyone who watched. Everyone enjoyed. I'll do another one next Sunday, most likely around the same time, or maybe later. I don't know. If you guys give me feedback, I'll be able to know if or when you want to come on, and I can schedule it better. So you let me know. If not, I'll do the exact same thing next Sunday, and you'll most likely see a video during the week of that knife I showed you, because I should be able to finish it after work one of these days. And we'll go from there. Hope you all enjoyed. Take care all and enjoy your Sunday. Peace out.